told us at Food Forest Abundance, wow, what we're missing one big thing here, and that's way more demonstration locations, which
And
is now, go
I
ahead.
get it. I get it. But you know what? I'm telling you right now, it scares me a little bit to do it. I mean, anything new, even if it's going to change your life, save your life, they've programmed us to be scared. Okay. And
Yep.
it's like, oh my God, I work hard all day and I just know how hard it is to be a farmer.
And Dr. Wolf, that's exactly why we exist. We know people are scared. We know they're afraid of what they believe it takes to grow food. We know they think it's hard work and they don't have time. But that's why we're here, because what the permaculture design and getting that system in the ground, which
Right.
is what we do, takes all of that guesswork out of the equation. We literally take you by the hand, walk you through a simple process, and then bring it to life and help you care for it afterwards.
Yeah, you guys actually will even do like, I don't know exactly, but it's like a consultation for free. I mean, if somebody comes on the
Yes,
phone, you know what? And you've got to do that. You know, it's
correct.
just like everything I do, like I give out my perfect day guide. You know what I mean? We tell
Yep.
everyone they can call us whenever they want. You know what I mean? You know, I got to tell you, what you've done is you've put the heart back into the ground. And you've put the heart back into, well, this whole thing is all about heart, because the reality is we were divided from our food to the point that we don't even know what's in our food.
No.
Yeah,
And, you know, when we talk about this, they're poisoning us in our air, they're poisoning our water, they're poisoning our food,
right.
they're poisoning our beds, they're poisoning our clothes, they're poisoning in our car. We've got all of these chemicals all around us all the time.
Yeah,
And how do we combat that? Well, one, as a doctor of detox, we know detox our systems. Two, we got to remove the poisons from our food system as best we can, and the poisons from our water system as best we can. We've got those solutions. It starts with permaculture. It starts with growing your own food. It starts with working with nature, but leveraging the experts to do the design piece, because that's the most important piece. We're building a food system that can go into a backyard on a small piece of property. It can go into a suburban backyard on a little larger property, or an acre, or 5 acres, or 20 acres, or 5,000 acres. Doesn't matter. But once we get that design done, we know what we're building. You can think about the design like the architectural drawings for a house. You take the architect, you do those drawings, and then you go create that thing. We're doing that same thing. Our permaculture design experts are phenomenal at this stuff. They can do this anywhere around the world. Here's the really important piece, and it's that we use local, native, perennial plants. So they're plants that are specific for that climate zone. Now, we can also create microclimates by using structures like greenhouses, for example. But when we work with what wants to grow in that climate zone, you get great results. And because we mimic the natural ecosystem, we mimic the forest, it's not working the same way. It doesn't take work. No one's out there watering the forest, and the forest is still growing. Well, we employ those same principles with growing food, except these are thoughtfully designed, edible landscapes to produce an abundance of food for you.
boom. You know what? Let me say this, and it's just comparing apples to oranges. I'll be the apple, you be the orange. But the reality is this: people will call me up and it's like this, and they're just freaking right out. And then we'll just go, okay, just breathe. And then we'll go through step by step, and we'll go, well, this is how we need to start our day. And if we could just do this, and let's just stick our toe in, then you'll find out that, you know, you're more powerful than you think. And that's exactly how you do it. And you know what? At the beginning, you got to hold anybody's hand, because it's a mystery to them, right? And
Yep.
so, you know, let me just say this: can you walk us through the process of transforming a typical lawn into a thriving forest. What does the journey look like for the average homeowner?
Yeah. So you mentioned our strategy sessions that we give away.
Yep.
Most people start there.
Okay.
They go through a 30-minute strategy session with a certified permaculture designer to discover what's possible, right? To help start shifting that image in their brain. And once they go through that strategy session, they are typically investing in a design for their property. So depending on the size of their property, they buy the appropriate size custom design.
Right.
When they buy that design, they now step into a information gathering piece where the designer will set up time with them to go through a consultation and do a lot of discovery, ask a lot of questions, figure out where they're going to put this food forest, how much land, overall land are they going to utilize? Because the way we do our designs is it's up to a certain size. So for example, our first price break is up to 1/8 of an acre, right? And we have,
okay, how big is 1/8 of an acre? Let's say not square footage, but length, like 20 by 30. How big is that?
It's quite significant, actually. So most suburban backyards are going to fit inside of that 1/8 of an acre.
Okay.
So it's quite large. A full acre, just to give people reference, is 3/4 of a football field. So that's big. Okay. So 1/8 of an acre, great size, lots of production on that size.
How small can I go though? Like how small can I go if I wanted to?
A few hundred square feet.
A few hundred square feet. I hope you're getting this, everybody. Yeah. Okay, that's important. I want to know how small I can go. Okay, all right? Because I'm kind of scared here right now. Okay?
Yeah, few hundred square feet. And the reality is, even if you don't have that, the great thing is we have solutions for those who live in apartments and condos, people that have really tiny backyards, that have fences. We've got all different solutions. So if that's you, don't be afraid to talk with us, because more than likely, we do have a solution for you.
And I will tell you something, everyone, and this is not, I don't even like saying it, but it's not fear-mongering. You better all do something. If you live in an apartment or you live in a condo, you live in a house, or you live in a basement, you better do something, okay?
Correct.
All right? If I want to get you down on your knees, I'm gonna make sure that you're gonna do what I want you to do so that you can have my food. Or maybe I won't even give you my food, okay? All right? And you know what? Everybody goes, oh my God, does he have to traumatize us? I'm not. I'm telling you right now that they're going to do this and even more to us, because they got away with the other thing that went down, and now we're going to do another thing. So how far are they going to go? I don't know. All right? You get a bunch of these people together, they have this one large tantrum, and it never stops. What are some of the most surprising benefits that your clients have experienced after installing a food forest?
Well, they have this transformation in mindset and transformation in what they believed was possible and what actually begins to come to life for them. Because often the belief system is, like we've talked about already, it's hard, they can't do it, I don't have a green thumb, it's so much work, so much time, so much of my resources.
It's amazing how we can get programmed to just say everything that just downs us all the time. It's like I teach people that you're not allowed to say sorry anymore. Just stop. Don't apologize for living, okay? Tell me you want to thrive. If you feel that you hurt someone, apologize, but don't say sorry. Don't start watching what you say, and if you say something that brings you down a little bit, it's gone. It's gone. Okay, and so the reality is you are giving them self-empowerment, and you're not just making them change about the way they can feel about their food, because if you want to give somebody something scared about, that is me looking after my own food. If they can do that, just think what else we could do, honey.
Yeah. Well, and just imagine, let's think 3 years out, and we've now inspired communities all around you to grow some of their own food. Doesn't mean that they're growing all of it, but if they're growing some, whatever they can, how does that change that community?
You know what I told
Well,
Jim?
we know their health has improved. We know that their food security has improved. We know that the community has become tighter because they've gone back to the things that nature provides. We've reconnected with that, right? Go spend time in nature. How do you feel? How does your energy feel, right? We call it ground for a reason. How do you feel when you ground and you get out there? You feel better.
Grounded.
Grounded.
Let me say something. You know what? I said to Jim, wouldn't it be something if you lived in a community and you went for a walk each night and everybody's front yard was growing different things? You wouldn't be going to you wouldn't make it to the corner store to buy those chips. And you wouldn't be going home to go at around 9 o'clock at night and go, hey honey, are you feeling kind of snacky? Because the critters inside of you are saying it's time to feed us.
Yeah. And you know, the beautiful thing with permaculture is it works in 7 layers of production, and diversity is our friend. You know, there's a reason why, again, they have to use the chemicals on these monoculture systems, because when one thing has an issue, it moves very quickly through all the other things. So diversity prevents that from happening. So we utilize diversity, we embrace that, and every single food forest has a massive amount of diversity. Just to give an example, Galt's Landing in Central Florida has over 230 different edible perennial plants. And now people go, well, of course, that's Florida. No, we've got another food forest in northern Minnesota that has over 300 different types of edible perennial plants.
Okay, so you know, when you were saying that, it's, you know, when they were talking about like bringing back the marshlands, you know, you had to bring back this animal to get to have this bird come, to have that bug come, to have that flower come, to have this come. It's like a domino effect, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
so you know what?
The
liar, pants on fire, because we can take anything that is dying and bring it back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That food forest in northern Minnesota has stuff in it that they haven't saw there before, because it's so diverse as far as the nature goes. It's attracting so much more nature. It has a butterfly effect, if you will.
Yeah, I so want to do this, and I know I will. I want to do it here in Ixtapa. I want to do it in Puerto Rico. So and maybe Texas too, because those are the 3 locations that I'm at. But let me ask you a question.
We'd love to help you.
Well, I know that. I'm working on it. Just tell Jim that I'm working on it, okay?
All right,
Food Forest Abundance is known for its work in various settings, from residences to prisons. Could you share an inspiring success story, and maybe one from each of these?
Well, you know, one that really stands out immediately is an orphanage in Peru. And
Where? Peru?
Peru, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Called the Awesomeage. And this food forest that's there is helping those children. And it's providing not only education and valuable, high quality food, but it's now giving purpose. It's now reconnecting with nature. It's building stability and confidence and purpose and a security for these kids. Powerful. We've got another food forest installed at a school. Same thing. Children back reconnecting with nature, learning about all of these things, having higher quality food, less chemicals put into them through their food, so their attention is up. Right? We've got prisons that we're working on. And here's something really powerful is recidivism, you know, reoffending is typically very high amongst the prison population. Typically 50 to 60%, right? They get out, they've spent their time in prison, they reoffend because they don't have purpose yet. And it's been proven, there's been many studies on this, when you connect those inmates to nature again, growing food in particular, it gives them purpose. And recidivism plummets to under 10%. Wow. What a difference that would make, especially in a place like the United States of America, where they've got a massive prison system, right? And if you could just implement some of those things, the money that would be saved, right? The new purpose that all of these inmates now have, it's world changing.
So, what do you notice different with the children? How did that change the children, though? I know that it, but how, do they? Have you been doing it long enough that you can see the children change in a school? Does it bring down aggression by having the garden?
I can't say that I know that particular piece. However, I can speak with confidence that it has reconnected those kids to each other in a different way, because they are now caring for that food system. That was part of the intention on putting that food system in there, was to get them involved in caring for that food forest. And that love and care that they're putting into that transfers over into other aspects of their life. And I can say that with absolute certainty.
Thank you. Can you explain the 7 layers of a food forest and how they contribute to a sustainable ecosystem?
Yeah, so you have your roots and tubers, things that grow underground, right? You have your small shrubs and herbs, right? Your herbaceous layer. You have your larger bushes. You have your understory trees. You have your canopy trees. And then you have your vines. And then you have your mycelial network, your mushrooms. And because you work with all of those, your production in let's say 1 acre, a 1 acre food forest producing inside those 7 layers will outproduce a monoculture farm in that same space. And actually, it will outproduce 5 acres of a monoculture farm in that same space, because those layers of production increase the amount of production inside that available space, right? It's beautiful.
Can I swing back around and just talk about some of the misconceptions, because there'll be people watching that they might have, and how do they overcome them?
Yeah, let's do it. The misconceptions really are some strong ones. The hard work piece, the I don't have time, the I don't grow food, the I'm not a farmer, the I don't have a green thumb. Those are common things that I hear. And it's understandable, because that's the programming.
Right.
And it's understandable because, they may have saw mom out there in her little garden, weeding and watering and spraying, and out there every day doing that, and getting a really small yield for that effort that she did.
Right.
So, you can't blame anybody, I guess is the statement. You can't blame anyone for having those beliefs, but they're all not true. Those are fictitious. And if you just think about nature as a whole, think about the last time you walked by the forest. If you don't live in a big city concrete jungle and never see the forest anymore, maybe you have a harder time thinking about that, but try to remember that last time you were around a forest. No one's caring for that forest, and it's still lush and producing. And maybe it's not producing just edibles, it's got also plants that aren't producing food in it, but surprisingly enough, a lot of the things that are growing in there can be consumed. And now all we're doing is taking all of those things that can be consumed and putting them into a very specific design. We're mimicking nature. We're keeping the ground covered. That's a really important one, right? People think they have to be out there watering a lot. And the reason that that happens is because typically when we grow food today, we keep our soil exposed. And the way I like to think about the soil is almost like our skin. And, you know, when if you've ever tilled soil, you dug a hole, that gets kind of like a crust on it very quickly.
Right.
What is that crust? Well, I liken it to a scab. It's kind of like a scab protecting that microbiome
Okay.
that lives underneath it.
I
Right?
get it. I get it. I get it.
So if you look at the forest, well, things fall from the trees, plants die, the soil is covered.
I know, and we've been told to just clean that up, rake it up, get it in a bag, get it out of here right away.
Exactly. Why?
Well, because
Those
guess
leaves
what?
that are falling on your
my
grass.
Matthew. It's my lawn. It's not a forest.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't need that
Exactly.
mess around here. I need things to be
Exactly.
hygiene. All that stuff falling down. There's going to be bacteria, and that's going to get into us, and we'll all die.
Yeah. Do you know who used to have lawns?
Oh,
The wealthy. And
yeah.
the kings and the queens had the lawns. Everybody else grew food. Why'd they grow food? And why'd the king and queen have a lawn? Because they could pay somebody to take care of their lawn, or actually have one of their servants care for their lawns.
Right.
Right. And then we
Right.
got convinced that we all need a lawn too. And then we got convinced that my lawn needs to be greener than your lawn. So I'm going to do all this stuff to my lawn to make sure my lawn's greener than your lawn. And then I'm going to go cut my lawn and invest all this time into making sure it's green and cut to this, you know, that height and blah, blah, blah. But we've been fooled. You know, as Jim likes to say, the lawn is the foundation for our enslavement. If we all just converted a piece of our lawn space into an edible landscape, what would that do for the food system? What would that do to the grocery store? Right? It would change everything in the grocery store if everybody was growing some of their own.
Yeah, they'd have to get their act together, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
It's like
That's how we would speak with our
when our
dogs.
vibration comes up, they'd have to bring their vibration up, and as long as we keep our vibration down, they'll feed off of that.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
So don't forget, everybody, we're not talking about a lawn. We're talking about a closet. We're talking about a small room. We're talking about part of your living room. Okay? All right? And that's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you right now. And this is just me. I'm not fearful at all. I fear nothing. And if people really knew me, they'd know I don't fear anything. And it's not fear. It's called strategy. Do you know why I don't fear things? I strategize everything. I strategize my business. I strategize my day. It's called the perfect day. I lay out the stuff to go. I'm not going to do without my water. I'm not going to do without my nutritional feeding my body, because I understand that. Okay? And the reality is nobody strategizes, because you were told that the government would strategize everything for you. It's just like this. You know, people will, you know, have one little symptom and they're run off to the emergency. Okay? And that's all it is. And we became so fearful of everything. Why don't you take a look in your home, your apartment, where you live? Ask yourself, what do you think you could give up, and then watch something beautiful grow and walk over and eat it? All you got to do is make a phone call. And this isn't some kind of pitch, but you just need to make a phone call, and they can tell you what you can do and how you can do it. Am I right?
Absolutely. And we want to give you tremendous value. Yes, we have a business, and our business is selling designs and building out food forests. But when you do a strategy session, that's free. And we want to give you massive value for that time.
Right.
To show you what's possible for you. And you can take action on what you learn. And if money is an issue, go buy seeds right now. Start just doing something. The resources exist out there. YouTube has endless permaculture videos, right? The solutions aren't hidden. The reality is they're available for all of us everywhere. It's the action piece that's missing.
Yeah, wouldn't
So
it be
let's take
something?
action.
Wouldn't that be something if we really did love and we really did care for ourselves and we really did love and care for everybody in the world and we just dropped the gauntlet?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something. So, what is your most, I don't know, let me see, exciting, heartfelt experience doing Food Forest Abundance and making that part of your life? What is it that drives you and what do you like about it the most?
Well, it's the big picture. I love the fact that we are working to create something that makes the old way obsolete.
Right.
Right? Buckminster Fuller's quote, don't try to change that system or the thing. Create something new that makes the old way obsolete. And I love that.
Well, because the system isn't okay. It's just like they get so upset with the medical system, they get upset with the government, and I go, it isn't broken. There's nothing to fix. It's working perfect. The government's working perfect. The medical system's working. The big pharma's working perfect. The supermarket's working perfect. And everybody, you just need to get that into your head. We just need to fix the system. We just need to protest. Protest what? That a cow is a cow? How are you going to get that to change? This is how this thing is built. It is not going to change. And that's why, you know what? We don't do lawns. We have to look at this permaculture. And you also can't limit your thinking anymore, whether you live in a 1-bedroom apartment or you have a 10-acre farm, right?
Yeah, don't let your story stop you.
Yeah.
Right? We all tell stories. We all have beliefs. And we choose to make meaning about those beliefs. Let's explore those things. Let's discover what's true and possible for you.
Yes.
Because what you currently are telling yourself doesn't need to be the story and the reality. We can change that and we can show you how. We love taking people by the hand, giving them hope, empowering them that there is a better way. And now is the time. We don't have time to do it soon.
Yeah.
What's going to be happening soon, we're not going to like it.
You're not going to like it at all, everyone.
So we got to act now.
Yep. We're not fear-mongering, and you need to get this. It's either a few weeks or a few months away. You heard what I just said. And now you can say, Dr. Wolf, you don't know what you're talking about. Isn't that great? And I want you to be able to say, you were wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong. But understand something. If you've got your eyes open, you'll know that it's a strategy that you're looking for, okay? And let me ask you a question. For someone inspired to start their own food forest, what would be the first step? And how can they benefit from a strategy by calling your team? Is that what they need to do? And
yeah, so if someone is like ready now, they want to do this now, go to our website. Go to foodforestabundance.com, buy a design.
Yeah.
If that's you and you're ready now. If you're not ready now, but you're very, very interested and you want to do something, then send me a text message. My number, Daryl will put it up here in a second, but you can send me a text message directly. I'll reply back to you. We can book some time to talk and I can help you move forward for yourself. Number 3, book a strategy session. If you really don't know at all, book yourself a strategy session, meet with one of our designers. Doesn't cost you anything. You'll get a ton of value from it and leave there with clarity on what do you do next.
And guess what? Number 4, okay, you ready for 4? You go and you take a flight and you go to St. Cloud and you go and you stay in one of their beautiful places that they built, and you walk the food forest. Maybe you even go fishing on their lake, okay, and you walk around with Jim, okay, and you just see the beauty of this place, the electroculture, the permaculture, the growing of the fish, all the animals there. What do you think of that?
So that location is our first Freedom Farm Academy.
Right.
And for everybody watching, the Freedom Farm Academy is the physical demonstration location. That was the aha moment we had as we started sending people to walk through the food forest. We realized there's a massive opportunity to demonstrate